Hello there, it's Tom from BlackToad Studios, and it's time for an apocalypse game again. We have 17,000 points aside, and without further ado, here is my 17,000 points, starting with some Black Templars. So down here at the front with the HQ selections, we do of course have Helbrecht leading this as our warlord. We also have him being backed up with the second command of Grimoldus and his crew. And then we have a few chaplains, a couple of terminators, a biker one, normal, and a jump pack. We have a lieutenant, two tech marines, emperor's champions, or I should say, a judicar sprinkled in there, and a castellan and a marshal, just to round out a few extra slots. As we shift over to the left here, we come to our infantry sections. We have 15 terminators, 2 squads of 10, and a 5-man relic squad, obviously assault and normal mixed in there. Then as we shift up here to the rest of the infantry, we have some assault intercessors and a Primaris Crusader squad, some normal intercessors, some firstborn Crusader squads here, 2 of them at maximum size. And then sprinkled in there for good measure is some tack squads. We have 3 10-man tack squads there. And then we move on to having some suppressors, which I haven't used for a while. And just behind them, as you can see, we have some Blade Guard veterans. And then, I suppose, like their cousins here, we have some Sword Brethren, 15 of those. Probably going to run them in 3 5-man squads, we shall see. Or maybe a 10 and a 5, who knows. And then as we move to the back here, we have 2 5-man Stern Guard veteran squads. Some jump pack Vanguard veteran squads, and just behind them is some new assault jump pack intercessors. And then to the right of them we have some eradicators, some aggressors, some hellblasters, and some centurion devastators, and then an entire block of dreadnoughts. So just to quickly go over that, we have a couple of leviathans, we have Redemptor, Brutalis, some ironclads, some normal dreadnoughts, a venerable dreadnought, a relic contemptor dreadnought, and a Derridio there, otherwise known as the boat. And then we also have, tucked away on the back there, some outriders as well. And then as we shift to this side of the board, which is where our vehicles are being currently kept, as you can see we've got quite a few here. We have a Spartan assault tank, and then just next to him we have a couple of Vindicators, that's the one I'm looking for. And then a variant of Vindicator here, we have a laser destroyer, and just next to that is a lonely rhino. I'm sure it will come in use in some way to transport a couple of tactical squads around the board. And then we have 2 predators, one of each variant there. 3 impulsors, all with the multi-melters added onto the top sponson there. Some Gladiator Valiants times 2 with all the melters in the world. And then we have 2 Land Raiders, 1 Crusader and 1 standard pattern. Just to keep with the Black Templar theme, I'll just quick show the rest of the Templar units here. We have 2 Storm Talons and a Castus Assault Ram at the back there. And then if we flip to the Red Scorpion Space Marine contingent, so as we come down the front here, I have a few HQs here. We have a Captain, Apothecary and a Lieutenant. And of course, Callan the Risen in his dreadnought form, his final form. And then along with this army, we have a few little infantry options. So we have some Hellblasters, some Relic Terminators with lightning claws. It's kind of a mix in that one there. We have an Intercessor squad, and then shifting over to the right here, we have 2 Aggressor squads, 1 Bolter, 1 Flamer. We have some Scout squads, so we've got a couple of ones here which are kind of standard bolt gun setup, and a couple of sniper ones. Obviously they are kind of old school ones, so looking forward to using them again. Been a little while. At the front here we have some Devastators with las cannons, 2 tactical squads with upgrades included, and they're going to be riding around in their 2 little custom rhinos there. Looking forward to getting that around the board. And then over here we have a small dreadnought contingent consisting of 3 Contemptors, a Redemptor with the plasma, and then a few additional vehicles just to throw into the mix. We have a Land Raider Helios, which is another little legend unit there, along with the Whirlwind Scorpius, which is also another legend unit. We also have a Castus Assault Ram in Scorpion colours at the back over there. And then we also have, just joining them, it's a little 3-blade knight I did up for them a little while ago in their colour scheme. And speaking of knights, as we move over to the centre again, we have our Black Templar knights here. So I think we have I think it's a warden, no, not a warden, a gallant, a knight gallant, and a paladin over here. And 3 smaller knights. We've got a couple of Morax ones and an unstandard armiger there. And then I've forgotten the name of this one, but it's the larger knight after the other 2, with the harpoon and the kind of flame weapon on there. And then finally, at the back in the centre, we have the Warhound Titan with its plasma blast gun and turbo destructors. So that is 17,000 points of an Imperium side, which is obviously all Marines pretty much, bar the Knights. And yeah, so looking forward to getting this on the actual board and playing. We'll see you soon.
And here we are, guys. I've got my 17,000 points of chaos. So it is a force of, starting on the right here, Chaos Space Marines. Then moving over to the centre here, we've got World Eaters. Then we have got a Demon contingent here on the left. Then coming back here, we have got Chaos Knights. And at the rear there, of course, we have got the Titans. So let's go through roughly what I've got here. 17,000 points of chaos. So starting over on the left-hand flank over here, we have got 2 5-man bolter squads of Legionnaires. We have got 2 Dark Apostles down here. This one here is the newer model, it's the older one here. Got a couple of cultists helping him out. Down at the front here, we have got a Chaos Sorcerer, Mark of Nurgle, the old Forge World model. Going back to the troop choice though, because I think troops are important in Apocalypse. Starting on the right here, we have got 4 squads of Legionnaires, all of which are WYSIWYG, so whatever they've got there, they are armed with. So we've got a combination of things here, like icons in there. That squad there has actually got heavy bolter. This one here has got the tome. This one here has got a flamer. This one here has got a heavy combat weapon. So it's a real mix of weapons. Then going behind there, these are not Plague Marines. These are just Chaos Legionnaires, Mark of Nurgle. So just to go through, these ones at the front are all undivided. Then we move over here. We've got 20 cultists with combat weapons in this squad, 20 cultists with combat weapons in that squad, 20 cultists with auto guns and flamer. Like I said, it's all WYSIWYG here, so each squad here has got flamers. The squad with auto guns at the back there has got heavy stubber. We then have a squad of 10 cultists there, combat cultists. And of course, there we go, we've got the Dark Comm unit as part of that squad here. So I've just painted those up for this Apocalypse game. We'll see how they do. Notoriously, new models will die very quickly. Then we have 3 squads of 5 Raptors. Once again, all WYSIWYG on that lot there. So they've all got a melter gun in the squads. We've got 3 squads of 5 Warp Talons there. Moving down here, we've got the Leviathan there with 2 combat weapons. So that's our first legend unit for this army. We've got 3 squads of Obliterators. We have got 2 Warpsmiths. This one's getting a bit too close, so let's move him across there. Let's keep the relationships in the army completely professional. We then have 3 squads of 5 Possessed here. So you see the squad here is a bit of a mixed match of the Greater Possessed, some Mutilators and Forge World models. But I thought we might as well use them. We've got 3 squads of 5 Terminators there. We've got 2 squads of Havocs. Now we're going to go back towards the back here. We have got a Sakaran there with the autocannons heavy bolters. We've got 3 Mauler Fiends, 2 of which have Lasher Tendrils. This one there's got the Magma Cutters. We've got 5 Chaos Rhinos. Very important for this army, Chaos Rhinos. They all have Havoc launchers. We have got 3 Venom Crawlers back here. We have got 3 Las Cannon Predators with Las Cannon sponsors. We've got 2 Helldrake with Bale Flamers. We've got at the back, we've got 2 Lamb Raiders hidden there. We've got a Vindicator there. We've got a Hell Talon bomber there. So that is the 2nd legend unit to this army. Here we go. Moving down the front here. So we have seen the Dark Apostle and we have seen the sorcerer, but we've got a Chaos Lord here on foot with a sword and pistol. We've got 2 demon princes there with wings. We've got 2 master possessions back here. We have got an exalted champion here. We have got a Chaos Sorcerer and Terminator armor. We have got an executioner. This one is Mark of Corn. We have got Harkham Word Bearer, not World Claimer. We have got the overall warlord of the army, Chaos Terminator with lightning claws there. He is known as Core Kid. So he is leading in the absence of our overall leader, who unfortunately Games Workshop have removed the rules. But with the new codex coming out, we're going to get those rules back. Huzzah! Right, so then moving on to the World Eaters. We have got a Lord on Juggernaut here. We have got Khan the Betrayer. We have got a Demon Prince with a big boy axe on foot. We have got the Angel himself. We have got Angron. We have got 2 squads of 10 Berserkers. We have 3 Defilers. We have got a Chaos. We've got a World Eater Rhino back there. We have got 2 squads of Terminators. World Eater Terminators. At the back here, we've got Zuffa. Unfortunately, Zuffa's rules are no longer valid. They're nowhere. So he's just going to be the champion of the squad there, paying extra points for just having 6 rather than 10. We've got 3 Exalted Possessed there. And right at the back here, we have got a Lord of Skulls. So he's got the Skull Hurler and a Demon Gore Cannon. There you go, so the World Eaters are the biggest contingent. However, they do pack a punch. There's a lot of melee units in there. A lot of threat for the Imperial forces to be dealing with. Moving over, deep breath, to the demons. So we have got a Bloodthirster here with the humongous axe. We have got Scarbrand here. We've got Blood Herald down there. We've got the named Blood Herald, which the name has now gone from my mind, as it would when I'm recording this army. Hopefully that's the only thing that will. We have got 6 squads of Bloodletters with musicians and standards. That's the demon contingent. That was easy, wasn't it? Actually, they're probably the smallest contingent. Then we move on to the Chaos Knights. So we have got 2 Carnivores here. So normally these guys run with my World Eaters, but of course in this massive game they're going back to their Knights. They no longer need to be seconded because it's time for the big fight. We have got 3 Executioners back here with their autocannons. We have got a Tyrant with the Harpoon and Flamer. We have got 3 of the normal Chaos Knights here with an assortment of weapons. So on this one we've got the Thermal Spear and Chainsword. We then have the Gatler Rapid Fire Battle Cannon. And we have a Combat one back here. We then have, sorry, it's had to cram this all on this board. It's quite difficult. We then have our Tank Hunting Knights back there. I can't remember the name of it, unfortunately. But those are the Knights. So probably a bit more than the Demons. We then have a Noctilith Crown at the back there. Is our nice bit of terrain. We have got the Khitan, which is another legend unit. And to end it all, the big guy himself. We have got the Chaos Warhound with the 2 Plasma Blast Cannons. I am very proud of this force. It's taken me a long time to accumulate this army. Up until yesterday, I was still painting Obliterators. And I have a lot of stuff to paint for future Apocalypse games. So guys, if you like the look of this army, I think you should take a little prayer for the Dark Gods. And let's see what we can do against the filthy forces of the Imperium.
So here we are. Another massive game ahead of us. Both forces are now deployed. It was a mission, but here we go. So we on this board have 5 objectives scattered throughout the battlefield. We'll go through briefly where they are. So over here within the Chaos Reach, we've got this one here on the landing pad. Moving across, and these forces look absolutely epic. We have got another one back here behind the Chaos lines. Move over to this side, and we have an objective down here just before the Templars, similar to the landing pad. Moving across, got a ray of light coming down, and in the center of the battlefield, in the killing fields that soon to be, we've got an objective there. And then finally, the last objective is back in this ruined church of the Imperium. We've got one back here being held by the Templar forces. Now, if you're new to one of our Apocalypse games, We basically run the standard 40k rules. We have got several objectives on the board. So with this one, we haven't got any secret secondaries. However, we have got HQ kills, Titanic kills, Warlord kills. So it is maxed at the other players, the lower players' ability. So for instance, Tom has got fewer HQs. So he's got 14 in total. So we're maxing HQs at 14. We're maxing the Titanic kills at 5. And we also have the Warlord kill. Now, Tom's Warlord is Hellbrick, who is riding on inside a Spartan at the back there. Just about to see him. Hello. And mine is Corkid, the Terminator Lord, who is currently waiting to come down onto the battlefield. And he will be coming down on the battlefield. Oh, yes. So they're the Warlords. So run through very quickly our deployments. So over on the Chaos side here, we have got Land Raiders with Possessed in. We've got Cultists up here. We've got Possessed here. Bloodletters have already appeared on the battlefield. We've got Chaos Knight here. We've got a lot of Demon Engines, Cultists and Bloodletters facing off against the Templar lines and the Red Scorpions down there. We've got some Nurgle Marines back here. We've got the Noctilith Crown lurking in these ruins. A few Predators, Walksmiths. Angron leading the charge with the World Eaters heading forwards. I mean, there is a Titan I've got to be concerned about. We've got the battle. Yeah, don't worry about that. We've got Knights here. We've got a load of Rhinos loaded up with troops. Back here, like I said, we've got the Chaos Lines. We've got the Chaos Warhound Titan back here facing off down the battlefield. I mean, this battlefield looks amazing, guys. Absolutely amazing. Down here, we've got Cultists getting ready to swarm through the ruins towards the objective over here. A few Defilers as well. Coming over to the Templar lines, we have got the Empress Champion on board that Impulsor there. We've got squads lurking around. We've got Outriders, big group of Dreadnoughts. Like we said, we've got the Warlord and Sword Brethren in the Land Raider there. We've got Tech Marines, we've got guys everywhere. We've got Crusader squads. We've got Crusader squads coming out of everywhere. We've got one there. We've got one here. Oh, we've got another one over there. There's a lot of troops. Up on this fortification, we've got a force of Red Scorpions, special weapons up there. We've got some more Hellblasters down here. We've got Red Scorpions back here. The Red Scorpions are definitely a big factor, and the first time they're appearing in this Apocalypse game, which is great. We have got Templar forces up in this fortification up on the hill where the objective is. Down at the rear of the battlefield, and Tom's put these guys to prevent any form of deep striking. Imagine that.
It's unusual, isn't it? It protects my backline.
Yeah, we've got a lot of Templars up here. Looking down across the battlefield once again. This looks absolutely amazing. Really excited for this. We come down here. We've got some armoured support. We've got Tom's Flyer Wing down here. Force of the Red Scorpions and the Black Templars coming in. We've got a Knight down here facing off against the Word Bearers. And then finally, just a quick little glimpse at our reserve tables. So over here, we have got the reserves table. So these 4 trays here are Templar stuff that's either mounted up or in deep strike. So we've got Terminators waiting in deep strike, got all these guys mounted in tanks. We go back to the Chaos Forces. Most of this is all deep striking, Obliterators, Terminators, Warp 10s, Bloodletters. These guys are all mounted up in Rhinos. We've got my Flyer Wing. We've got more stuff. We've got more demons. There's so much stuff on this battlefield, guys. So that's that. That's the battlefield. We have got 5 objectives. We get a point for holding each objective. We've got Warlords. We get a point for killing the Warlords. We've got Titanic units. We get points for getting Titanic units. And, of course, normal HQs. So we're all ready. Tom, should we have a dice off to see who goes first in this
for the end of the world?
apocalyptic game? Right, I'll roll first.
All right.
Let's see the toad. Let's see the toad.
No.
It's a 3. Well, it's not bad.
Give me
Not
a
great.
6. Oh, wow.
A 2. So over to turn 1 for Forces of Chaos. Right. Turn 1 movement for the Forces of Chaos. Okay, so across the board, get started on the left. So Demon Prince and the Possessed moving up here. Not really sure what they're going to achieve. Probably not much. Bloodletters have moved up as well a little bit. The Land Raider down here has followed the general advance in the centre. So all this stuff just pushed forwards. I mean, at the moment, the Demon Engines have a nice cushy cover of fodder in the way. However, it is slowing their advance. In the centre, so the World Eaters have got +2 movement and advance and charge. So there's going to be combat in turn 1. Amazing stuff. The Lord of Skulls shooting up here. The Rhino, he was tempted to let the Berserkers out, but decided that if he did, he'd be slowed down. So he'd rather just get in combat and ram some Templars. Angron is charged up here, followed there by the other Berserker squad. Once again, everything else is just coming up behind them as well. So we've got 2 squads of Bloodletters, 2 Carnivores, Demon Prince, the Tyrant, known as the Herald, he's moving up slowly. The Khitan has moved. He isn't a World Eater unit, unfortunately, so he's just moved up. However, he could get a 12-inch charge. Maybe. We'll see. The Rhinos have just kind of reorganised a bit back here. Generally, the Nurgle Marines are just moving up just behind them, just have a bit of a meat shield. Moving over to Aziliath. Is that one for Lord of the Rings? The ruined city over here. The cultists are coming through, or the Mordor orcs, against Gondor's protectors. We're going up for this objective here. So the Defilers are just kind of flanking around here. They're going to put a bit of fire in as well. The Exalted 8-bound there, but we've got lots of... These guys just generally moved in. The Vindicator has repositioned, so he's just firing his Demolisher Cannon down, and this squad here has advanced. So, yes, a lot of advancing across the board. There is going to be combat shortly, but obviously, before combat, there has to be shooting. So let's do some shooting. Turn 1 shooting for the forces of chaos. So, let's start with the big thing. Big Boy Titan, I left it to the last thing. I was like, here we go, we can do this, we can kill something. So I fired both its plasma blast guns, which I've forgotten that are hazardous. I'm going to roll on camera now. Oh. Please, no get ones. Oh, that is one. So we've taken some mortal wounds there. We've got 2 ambitious. So 1 fired over into the Spartan. The Spartan is wounded, which we'll go through in a moment. However, shrugged it off. Absolutely fine. The other one, because of a gentleman's agreement, we don't shoot Titans in the first turn. Went into this one over here, and it's taken this one down to 6 wounds. So it took quite a bit of a hit on that one there. Over in the ruins here, we had auto guns firing up into the squad here. Took a few casualties, which I'm quite proud with. The Dark Pact did kill a couple of the cultists. Then we had a barrage of battle cannons and demolisher cannons, taking out one of the dreadnoughts down here, which is quite good. We then had firepower from the Execution Knight there, firing down into here, taking this dreadnought down to 2 wounds. The others, like I said, we're firing down into the Spartan here and basically just plinked off. However, the main cannon from the, I think called it Desolator, fired in, and yeah, it's taken this guy down to 11 wounds, which Tom was, I could sense he was getting a bit worried about that situation. Yeah. We had las cannon fire coming in, so one of these predators came down, fired, and destroyed the Vindicator, which was here. The other one fired off as well, and did nothing essentially. The knight, the predator there on the right, fired across, into a knight here, and I think it had 24 wounds. Yeah. It was quite a lot. And then it was finished off by some supporting fire from this knight here, who fired his rapid fire battle cannon, everything, and yeah, didn't do a great deal. This Valiant, oh there we go, really marine names, has taken fire from the Chaos Lines as well, and is now down to 10 wounds. We had a bit of anti-air fire going on, because, you know, I thought, why not? Let's try something a bit different. So we had the Tyrant Knight fire its missile coming in over here. A significant bit of damage there, because it was also joined by the Land Raider down here, which fired its las cannons up, and it's taken this flyer down to 2 wounds. Smoke is just pluming out of it at this point. It's fine. It will definitely pass its any test. We then had the Venom Crawlers, who did some suppressing fire down into the Hellblasters down there. So that was a squad of 10 there. I think it's just down to 5. So they've taken quite a bit of damage. However, they were dying and firing into Angron. Also, Tom played Overwatch as well and taken Angron. He's down to 12 wounds. It's a shame if he dies, really, isn't it? That'd be very tragic.
You'll just get back up again.
Yeah, it'd be fine. But essentially, that was my shooting turn 1. So we've taken out a knight there. We've done damage to the rear knight over there. The Spartan has taken a lot of hits there. Dreadnought died over there, and casualties are starting to pile up. However, we will have to deal with the return fire shortly, which was going to be very painful. But we are going into turn 1 assault for the forces of chaos. Turn 1 assault for the forces of chaos. So we've got the Khitan here. He was going to do a potential charge in here. Unfortunately, he failed just about. So a fail's a fail. Wasn't going to happen. Lord of Skulls charged in then, did a tank shock, took out, I think, 2 neophytes. Not even 4, 2 neophytes. Then did some swiping attacks, killed off the rest of the neophytes there. And on the fight back from the Marines, he's on 14 wounds. So he did take a bit of a hammering, unfortunately, but he is still holding strong. Rhino charged in, did 1 wound to a neophyte. On the fight back, he's been reduced to 1 wound, so he is going to die. Hopefully his precious cargo will be out soon, and Khan the Betrayer can get himself stuck in, let's say. Angron here charged in. He's taken out a lot of the neophytes here. On the fight back, he was already wounded, but he's down to 6 wounds now. But once again, he's in the fight. This is now holding up some of the Marine line. So they're going to have to face these 3 and potentially ignore the next wave or the bigger wave of stuff coming in. So it's been quite a successful turn for the Forces of Chaos. We have killed 1 Titanic unit, which is great. We've done a bit of damage to other units. So fingers crossed we can carry on this momentum and push forward. But we are now going to go into turn 1 for the Imperium.
Okay, here we are with turn 1 for the Black Templars and the Imperium. Yes. Yeah, even Dom's cheering along. So we start over this side of the board, which I know looks very chaotic, but as you can see, there are some flying entities over here. So I actually moved the Castus Assault Ram for the Templars over here, along with this one from the Red Scorpions. Dom had an Overwatch attempt, and I passed both my saves.
Yeah, sad times.
So he's on 2 wounds, sitting there. The reason for doing this is I did put Oath of Moment onto this knight down here because I remember it being a real pain in the last Pockets game. I don't want it firing at my units anymore, like the Spartan who almost got minced again. So I did also drop down the 2 birds of prey here because Dom absolutely loves them flying around his Titan.
No.
So I'm hoping for a little rematch back here where we just plink away. I think they might go down.
Is incorrect.
There's a lot of, to be fair, there's a lot of firepower over that side of the board that I'm going to have to deal with. Anyway, so moving over to this side of the board, we have the knight who's scooted around this way so that he can start making his way down the back channels. That's his plan anyway.
Okay, good luck.
And he's going to have a little screen of 3 bikes. Other than that, though, we had a general move kind of forward across the board. So as we shoot over here, we can see that most of this line here has all moved into the no man's land area, pushing up hard. I mean, there's absolute wall of steel in there, so I'll try to counter it with my wall of steel here. Not quite as extensive as Dom's though, I think. The Venom Crawlers and the Forge Fiends are going to be a real pain, unless I can get rid of them. So back here, mostly things stayed quite static. Did have the Tech Marine here putting on the buff onto the Predator, and also as we shoot into the middle here, obviously this is a combat that went on last turn. Everything is still there. How long, I don't know. I mean, I do probably need to deal with Angron and this Lord of Skulls this turn. So to do that, obviously, I have a knight here. We've got some aggressors shooting around the side there. We've got 2 dreadnoughts on there. We've got another 2 dreadnoughts in the middle, along with the Land Raider there. The Spartan moved up a little bit after healing itself from the Tech Marine and also giving it a +1 to hit. And then over here we've kind of just flooded the objective area down here. I mean, I don't really fancy venturing over this area because there's too many those
Defilers?
Defilers is the one I'm looking for. Thank you, Tom. Oh yeah, so there was one dreadnought down here. He decided to potentially go and have a look at the Khitan, just to look, not necessarily going into combat with it.
Don't get too close, he bites.
We'll see how well the shooting goes, basically. So that's my movement. So we'll be right back in a moment with turn 1 shooting for the Black Templars. Okay, turn 1 shooting for the Black Templars and Red Scorpions, and we're starting off on this side of the board where the Knight and basically the bikes here and a couple other things shot into the Possessed that were here, and they have been gotten rid of quite nicely, which is good. We had some shots from these 2 tanks here, so the Land Raider and the Vindicator, firing over the heads over here. I don't think we didn't damage the Land Raider then, did we actually?
We did, yeah.
Oh, was there?
It was a little while ago.
Okay,
It's on 7 wounds.
Yeah, so if the Vindicator Laser Destroyer here did some damage to that. And then basically this slot here in the middle, so the Valiants, the 2 Dreadnoughts, and the also the little mini Knights here, fired mainly into some Cultists and some Forge Fiends and a Venom Crawl over here, which managed to do away with those. We did try and go after the Land Raid over here as well, but however that did not go according to plan. We shift over here. Most of the stuff on this hill fired down into various targets on the far side of the board, but I don't think this up here was actually that effective. So we had, I think there was a couple of shots from the Predator Destructor, which tried to do damage to the Land Raider, but it all just skipped over. Or was going to Forge Fiends, and they had some pretty good invulnerable saves. The Derridio and a couple of weapons from this Knight here went into Angron, who is no longer here, because he's got. I'm sure he'll be back in a minute though. I'm not too. I wouldn't be surprised if he turned up next turn. And also one of the shield breaker missiles went all the way over into this Knight over here and did actually manage to connect quite successfully and took a few wounds off there. As we shift over here, then the big Titan fired its turbo destructor laser into the kite and actually didn't actually do anything. However, the plasma gun did a bit more effective work. Killed the Carnivore Knight. That was it. The one, yep. The second one that was sitting just over here. Mm-hmm. And then there was a few more shots from down here. However, the last thing of note was the Spartan here firing some split firing into the Lord of Skulls and the Khitan. Didn't do anything against Khitan really, but did manage to finish off the Lord of Skulls with its final shot. We had a few sporadic shooting elements going into the Berserkers down here, which actually managed to get forward with their Blood Surge into combat with one of the Dreadnoughts. So we'll see how that turns out in a minute. Other than that, the only thing worth noting is all 4 of these flyers had to finish off the Laser Knight at the back here, which I was wanting to get rid of, probably top priority, because that thing is really painful once it gets firing and you can't deal with it. I don't think I'm holding much hope for the lifespan of the flyers over here with the amount of guns that are in this area. So we'll see how they do. How one is sitting on 2 wins at the moment, so we'll roll over to the combat phase and we'll be right back in a moment with the Templars and Scorpions turn 1 fight phase. Okay guys, that's end of turn 1 combat for Black Templars. So there wasn't too many combats. There was basically some ongoing ones in the middle over here, which was the Rhino, which as you can see Dom is just putting out his Berserkers because I managed to pop the Rhino. We also had a bit of a Leviathan. The Leviathan and the remaining Ironclad here fought through some Berserkers. Didn't quite chew through enough of them. So the Juggerlord there is still
happy.
Popping, and I think he's got one guy back there.
Yeah.
What was the reason for that one, Dom?
What's that, the Juggerlord?
Yeah,
we need the icon on the objective. We need to roll some 6s.
Something to do with someone coming back. So great. So yes, outside that we had a little combat with the Khitan here. Unfortunately, only managed to get down to 1 wound. So he did swing back and didn't do anything though. So it was kind of even in that particular respect. There was no other real combats of note. I think that was all of them anyway. So we are now going to roll over and have a look at what the scores are before we move on into turn 2 for Chaos. So at the end of turn 1, the scores are currently 3 to the Imperial side and 1 to Chaos.
Turn 2 movement for the forces of Chaos. Right, so we took a bit of a hammering last turn. pretty brutal. However, we are coming back strong. We're going to do this. So over here, the Bloodletters of Demon Prince have advanced slightly towards there. We're remaining in control of this objective. However, I didn't bring in. These guys were kind of lurking as my counter-attack. So I've got a few squads of Raptors relocating over here. Land Raiders there. The Demon Engines have pushed forwards over here. Hopefully I get some supporting fire from the Knight and the Land Raider here. Possibly even the Predators who have been boosted up again. Big lot of Bloodletters in the centre, moving up as well with the Demon Engines. In the middle, we've got all sorts going on. So unfortunately, Angron didn't return. We have got sustained and lethal hits for the World Eaters. So we've got Khan's squad in the centre. We've got Demon Prince there, which is World Eater. We've got more Bloodletters. This Tyrant Knight is pushing up on the battlefield as well. So it's got a nice selection of shots. I really want to harpoon one of those dreadnoughts. The Rhino convoy is just trugging along at the moment, all filled up with Legionnaires. The Nurgle Marines are just moving up as well to spread our field of influence. Over here, a bit of a reshuffle with the Knights, but nothing dramatic. We've got a push up here as well, so Defilers, 8-bound, Cultists are all moving up against the Black Templars holding this objective, which will be interesting to see if we've got control of it at the end or if we haven't. Let's find out. And finally, the most dramatic part and the big gamble we're taking at the moment is, Tom said it was a trap. However, Khorne does not care where the blood flows. So we've got Great Demon, we've got 2 squads of Bloodletters, we've got Scarbrand, we've got Helldrakes, we've got Bombers. With the coordination of the Word Bearers, the demons have now come in on this side of the battlefield, and hopefully we can work our way up the battlefield towards what we have up here. We will see. We will see if demons are any good. Let's see if the gods want them to prevail. So let's move into turn 2, shooting for chaos. Turn 2, shooting for the forces of chaos. And it was a pretty bloody turn, wasn't it, Tom? So down here, the Land Raider, Dark Pacted, naturally hurt himself, and we used the reroll hits and wounds. We fired over into this cheeky boy, taking him down to 11 wounds. So he's done quite a bit of damage. Not enough, unfortunately. Over here as well, we had this Land Raider firing off into the smaller knight here, killing that. Also, we had a Titan. The Titan had a bit of a comeback here. So he fired both his plasmas across the battlefield, up onto the hill, and took out both the Lancers.
The Valiants.
The Valiants. Both the Valiants. Both went kaboosh. Tom popping smokes on one of them didn't help, unfortunately. Well, it helped a bit, but just enough just to kill it. So, not great there. The Venom Crawlers here have been firing off and not doing a great deal, unfortunately, but they have been quite valiant in their attempts to kill things. Thank you. Down here we had the Tyrant Knight, fired his harpoon, killing off a Leviathan in one shot. I saved my reroll, didn't I, Tom? The reroll was crucial, and yes, I was like, I know what I need with it, and he fired, killing it, exactly the right amount of damage. Had 18 shots with the Flamer, which was unreal, firing into Grimaldis' squad, killing a lot of them. I think 7 in total died.
They're not happy.
Not happy. The battle cannons and the missile fired across the battlefield. Down beside the Titan, there was a Knight.
There was.
And the Knight has also gone kaput. So this Knight just crumpled. Didn't explode, just crumpled down.
He's lying down.
I would like to think he's trying to hold the Titan as he went. Just slowly, slow embrace of death. Over here, the Helldrakes and the Bombers did almost nothing of note. Did 2 wounds to the Eradicator. The Bomber, however, has taken this Land Raider down to 9. We've got bombing runners that flew over, which is quite cool. The Khitan and one of the Predators fired King off the Contemptor, because of course the Khitan was on 1 wound. It was very, very close. Killing it, but the Contemptor's got, is it only in death?
Yeah,
does duty end?
In death I serve.
In death I serve. And he got back up on anything but a 1. It was ridiculous. Down over here as well, we had battle cannons firing off into dreadnoughts. So 2 more dreadnoughts have fallen down here. That one's gone. The one down there has fallen. A lot of this also was down to small arms with lots of lethal hits coming off. Unfortunately, more cults did die, but that's their part, really, isn't it? And 2 more of the bikers have fallen as well. Now, coming across, You may notice the airspace is looking a bit clearer. And it's not down necessarily to these knights. Or to these knights. Because they did a lot. They did some wounds. I was happy. They did well. It was down to a humble little Leviathan Dreadnought. Doing his legend shots. Firing hunter killers and melter shots. Taking out both of the flyers.
He was spinning.
Yeah.
On his waist.
Yeah, and his torso just spinning around like a little robot. And took them both out. These over here suffered one mortal wound. And another one was killed off by Sakaran firing off. Back here as well, the Black Templar ones here, they've taken 2. Unfortunately, I haven't been able to do anything else to them. But across the battlefield, lots of firing. We've kind of leveled the playing field a little bit more, but there is a lot of charges that are going to go off in a moment, hopefully. So here we go. Let's move into turn 2, combat for chaos. The end of turn 2 combat for the forces of chaos. So over here we start off with the knight charging into the Terminators, and he killed off 3 of the squad with his big old chainsaw, just hacking through there. The Leviathan over here attempted to charge. Unfortunately though, it didn't work, and it's just kind of standing right in front of them, which is not the ideal situation for him. Across the battlefield in the ruins over here, the cultists surged forwards, killing off one of the outriders and taking the other one, the chaplain here, down to 3 wounds. I think 1 cultist was killed in return, so they're holding their own. They're doing very well. Over here, failed. The Khitan charged in, completely forgot about him, and then Tom did a interrupt, killed off my Khitan. Bit annoyed by that, to be honest. Never mind, these things happen. Over here, Demon Prince charged in, taking down Leviathan to 5 wounds. Leviathan returned the favour and has taken the Demon Prince down to 5 wounds. He was joined by Bloodeaters, who split their attacks between here and the Ironclad Dreadnought that was there. The Ironclad Dreadnought killed off 1 of the Berserkers, did a bit of damage to the Juglord. The Juglord fought back, killing him off and securing the objective. The Carnivore here charged in as well, killing off another Dreadnought, followed here by Khan and his Berserkers, taking this Crusader squad down to 4 members. I think we lost maybe 2 Berserkers in the return fight, so it wasn't too bad. Over here, we had Bloodletters charging in, taking this Rhino down to 3 wounds. We had a Mauler Fiend as well, which decided that it was going to charge into the Brutalis. Hit the Brutalis hard, took the Brutalis down to 3 wounds. The Brutalis then hit back, killing off the Mauler Fiend, which wasn't great. Over here, however, it wasn't particularly amazing for us. We didn't do well. All these charges failed. We did get 1 charge though. The Bloodthirster charged into the Laser Vindicator, killing off the Vindicator there, then consolidating into the Knight. The Knight fought back, and at the end of the fight phase, it took 6 wounds, 6 mortal wounds from the Bloodthirster's built-in ability. Down here as well, the Bloodletters charged in. Lots of blood in this game, isn't there? The Bloodletters charged in, killing off 1 of the Outriders, taking out 1 down to 2 wounds. They lost a few in return, but, that's what happens. We don't really care how many of our men die. We've got lots of chaff. We've got lots in reserve still.
He does care, he was weeping.
Yeah, maybe I was crying a bit, but it's because I was so happy, Tom. And that's it. So not a bad turn 2 for the Forces of Chaos. Let's move on now to the Imperium.
Turn 2 for the forces of the Imperium. I wasn't about to say chaos there. That would have been weird. Movement phase has just ended, and I've done quite a few bits actually. So I'm going to start off in this corner. During the deep strike phase, we had this squad of Terminators drop in behind the horrendous amount of Defilers we have over here. Going to try and deal with them. We'll see how that goes. Emperor Champion has got out of his chariot and has jumped in to try and deal with this increasing incursion of kind of cultists that keep popping up. Obviously, there are some other things over here that you need to be slightly concerned about. Dreadnought moved up towards the pile of rhinos there. Helbrecht has got out with his 10-man squad of sword brethren to potentially push into some open tin cans later. We shall see. We put Oath of Moment on this knight in the middle to try and make sure that it actually does get finished off, and that is why the 2 Storm Talons, which are probably being ignored at the moment, don't know why, coming this way.
Because they're rubbish.
There you go. You heard it here. And then down here we had the Crusader squad move across towards the knight. However, he is being backed up. They're being backed up by quite a few firepower heavy units at the back over here, because I think the objectives there, we kind of want to get on there and try and stop that being permanently held by chaos. So I suspect there's going to be a bit of to and fro here over the next couple of turns. There's more and more things piling, because there's, I think, these all 10-man squads now then?
There's a lot of, about 50-50.
50-50?
Yeah.
That seems very non-committal. I feel like he's trying to hide the truth.
Yeah.
We also had Grimoldus move up after sort of repairing his squad by one man. The apothecary there just moving up towards the Demon Prince there to try and assist Helbrecht with his crusade. And over here, we didn't do too much because there's plenty of stuff over here to shoot at. We've got plenty of pretty good weapons sort of hanging about in the high reaches of these towers. Got some Eradicators knocking about, and we'll see how they get on. Then as we sweep over to this side of the board, the Crusader has moved forward. The Blade Guard actually moved back towards this issue because didn't want to leave that sort of walking around in our, I don't know if it's not really the back line, but on the side of the table where some of our stuff is. And then ultimately all the Dreadnoughts and this remaining knight have moved through the middle to try and punch a hole, potentially to get up onto here. We shall see. We've still got a couple of Land Raiders to chew through, which could take a while, and some Demon Princes and some Bloodletters, and all of this stuff sitting on the back line, all this very mobile jump units. So that is the end of the movement phase. We'll be right back after the shooting. And here we are at the end of turn 2 shooting for Black Templars and Red Scorpions. So bit of a mixed shooting around this time, quite a lot going on in little bits of the area, all over the map basically. So down here we did have a Demon Prince that was sitting here, and he was taken out by combined fire from various things like the Land Raider, so the Knight. He also we tried to finish off this Land Raider here. He's currently on 1 wound, which was a bit frustrating, but you know, these things happen. We then kind of scooted over to here, to this back line here. We fired a hell of a lot of weapons. So we had the kind of Eradicators firing into this Helldrake. We had this squad up here firing down into the Talon. We had more Eradicators, Dreadnoughts, everything basically split firing among all these units here. We kind of chipped away a few bits. I think the Bloodletters were probably the worst off out of all of them. Followed up by the Talon, who took a few wounds. Then we shifted over this way, where I put Othamone on the big Titan in the middle, or Knight in the middle, I should say. And yeah, that is gone, but it did take a lot of firepower, probably too much firepower from various things here. So this Knight did very well. They did a harpoon strike on the remaining mini Knight here, and basically also helped with the sort of clearing out some Bloodletters here and there, but nothing too serious. We did try and do some damage. I think it was mainly kind of just very light damage work. No real kind of big hitting units over this side. The 2 flyers did come in. They actually had to help and finish off the Knight in the middle here. Because we ran out of guns eventually towards the end of it, and it was just ticking up. And then in a breaking of pact between the Titans, this Turbo Destructor fired over at this Titan over here and took it down a few wounds, but nothing too spectacular, but I'm sure it will not be forgotten. And as the plasma from this one fired into the Sicarian and didn't do an awful lot of damage, unfortunately. So yeah, that's pretty much the shooting. We're going to head on into the kind of assault phase, and we'll see you in a minute. Okay, as we end turn 2 for the Black Templars and Red Scorpion team, we have ended combat. So down here was probably some of the fiercest fighting, with Helbrecht and a few of the others, Sword Brethren charging into a bunch of rhinos to begin with, but then they started to open up into various tasty treats, which didn't actually work out too well for them, to be honest. Helbrecht managed to get precision down to 3 wounds, and he lost about, I think, 4 or 5 Sword Brethren in the end.
Yeah, 5 died.
Yeah. But hopefully some reinforcements will be on the way at some point, although it is Dom's go next, so he might get surrounded. We'll see.
It might be more.
Coming
Wrong
out.
person for reinforcements.
However, we did manage to do some pretty good work in the middle. We took out the Juggernaut, or Juggerlord.
Lord of the Jugs.
Lord of the Jugs. Also, the other Demon Prince that was here, which is nice. So we managed to kind of secure this central part, which is nice, because it's been a bit back and forth. But again, got this turn coming up in a minute, which might hurt those particular odds. As we swing over to this side of the board, down here actually, this is still ongoing.
Yeah.
Nothing really happened.
No.
It was
2 wings to
boom,
recover.
boom, boom, boom. That's it. Yep. And then we swing over to here. This was nothing really. I think we did a couple of moves to the Vindicator, but it's not enough power. However, this bit over here was probably the most annoying part for me anyway, where I put a squad of 10 Terminators, 5 with Thunderhammers, 5 with Lightning Claws, and we did half wounds on the thing. But then I think Dom was equally upset that he killed, I think, 1 Terminator or 2 Terminators. So yeah, there we go. But then down here, it kind of went as expected. The poor cultists did get a little bit mashed up. They did try to fight back with their hands, but it didn't work.
No. Khan's still alive.
Khan is still alive. His squad is not, though, unfortunately.
No, that's Khan versus Captain.
Khan versus Captain down in the middle here. And basically, it was mainly kind of a bit of a clean out in this middle part, but again, because of everything that's still got to come out of those runners, it's quite scary. There is unfortunately still a little bit of an incursion over here, although nothing's really happening because all the charges were failed last turn for these ones. So this is yet to happen. And then finally, the one look back here is that this Demon Prince is doing Bloodthirst.
Great Demon.
Great Demon Bloodthirst is doing quite well because he's managed to take out most of his opponents down here of the Blade Guard veterans, but they've hang on there. But then the amount of wounds this guy's got is not good. Oh yes, there was some bikes here as well.
Yeah, the bikes
are gone, so that's been sorted. But yeah, that's pretty much the end of. That's also the end of turn 2. So we'll be heading on into turn 3 for Chaos shortly. However, we'll just quickly go around the board and give a little update on the score. So as we conclude turn 2, the scores are Imperium 10, Chaos 5.
Turn 3 movement for the Forces of Chaos. And yes, time got real. So all our deep strikers are now on the board. We've still got a squad of legionnaires inside this wounded rhino that's got up to 2 wounds. And down in this Land Raider, we have got a squad of possessed. So quite a bit has happened in this movement phase. So over here, these Raptors and Harken Wordbearer have moved up a little bit further. This squad of Raptors have jumped up in front of the landing pad here. Squad of Terminators and Corkid are now up on this landing pad. With Demon Prince has fallen back after seeing what happened to his brother. He's a bit worried that will happen to him. Bloodletters have moved up here. Now, the main force is down here. So the Land Raider has disembarked its possessed are up here. 3 squads of Obliterators have taken the centre field here. So hopefully this will be a game changer. Fingers crossed. Down here, the Venom Crawlers have pushed up as well. We have got a lot of Legionnaires and Havocs. This is a lot of stuff. Has just deployed from Rhinos. The Rhinos have either shot off in different directions. So this squad here is moving up to the objective, backed up by a Bolter squad of Legionnaires, a Havoc squad of Legionnaires, a squad of Terminators and a Sorcerers come down here. Gatling Havocs have come down. The squad of Legionnaires that were locked in combat with Hellbrick have fallen back. Yeah. Plague Marines, Nurgle Marines have moved up. Got a squad of Shooting Marines. Got another squad of Nurgle Marines there. The Knights here have moved up as well. Across the field, the Titan has actually moved. After being shot at by its twisted cousin, the Imperial Titan, this Titan has now moved up. Moving up behind is the Knight, coming up to assist over in this corner. The Defilers have also moved up here to assist its brother. That is locked in combat with the Terminators. A squad of Terminators has come down in this flank. A squad of Exalted 8-bound has pushed through as well. Moving across the back here, Bloodletters are still in combat. The Helldrakes have swarmed over here, hoping to take some fire into the backfield. 2 squads of World-Eater Terminators have, unfortunately, had to deploy like that, have deployed on the backfield behind the chapel. Scarbrand has charged up the hill, followed by some more Bloodletters, the surviving Bloodletters. 3 squads of Warp Talons have come in behind them, so hopefully they'll be able to move up soon. And that's it for the movement. So everyone's moving somewhere. The battlefield is still looking absolutely amazing, guys. There's so much stuff going on this field. It's brilliant. So without further ado, let's move into turn 3 shooting for chaos. Turn 3 shooting, and a disclaimer at the start, this has been going on. This is day 2 of the Apocalypse game. So here we go. Down here we had the cultists and terminators fire up into the scouts here, dealing a fair bit of damage and taking that one down to 1 wound. Over here, defilers and the fly have done here. They've done almost nothing, unfortunately, to these guys over here. So that fight continues. Moving along, we then find ourselves. We had the dreadnought firing in there, so I've taken 1 terminator out. The knight here fired up into this flyer, taking him down to 4 wounds. Now, we did well, guys. We did very well in this turn. We had all these guys open up fire. Everyone was firing at someone. We've had grenades going off here. So we're taking that squad down dramatically. Grimaldus' squad at the back has taken a fair hit. The Spartan back here was killed off by combined fire from a Land Raider and a Knight. And basically the squad came out and were then decimated by a hurl of Gatling fire that came in and just ripped them apart. You might also notice Helbrick has fallen with his squad of sword brethren. They were just plastered by fire. Every marine over here took a shot. The final shot came from the sorcerer with his combi bolter, killing off Helbrick there, which was really what we needed. Moving along here, we had the obliterators as well, putting down fire across the field. They put some fire down there and yeah, did a fair whack. The 2 squads of obliterators here killed both the knight and the dreadnought. We had the venom crawlers here, both firing into the rhino. Pop the rhino, the guys have come out here. It's a bit of a long bomb. I don't think it's going to happen with the charge. However, this rhino is also wounded, so we might try and get those guys out. Back here as well, so not much shooting's gone on, but we had the well-eater terminators on the backfield. They fired up into this building, taking all but 1 stern guard out. Down here, the Helldrakes have flamed into that, killing 2 of the Hellblasters. They returned fire as they died and took a couple of wounds off this Helldrake. But guys, it's gone. The Titan has gone. The Titan took a wave of fire from my 3 Predators at the back there. The Predators did suffer some wounds, unfortunately, due to Dark Pacts. The Havoc launchers were firing into infantry, but the las cannons did the majority of the work. It was then finished off by the Titan itself, returning fire, getting vengeance on the Imperial Titan. So it's taken that one out. And this knight over here has also taken a fair whack of damage as well. I think it's down to 6 wounds. Is it 6 or... No, actually didn't take any damage. No, because you did re-roll, didn't you?
It's got 9, I think.
Yeah, it's got 9 wounds left. Yep. So very good for the Forces of Chaos in that turn. We now just have to push that advantage and see if we can get some guys into combat and try and lock up as much as we can, because obviously Tom has still got a lot to come in on his turn 3. There's a lot of stuff on that table. Worrying times. But guys, for the Dark Gods. Turn 3 assault for the Forces of Chaos. So down here the Leviathan has charged in, killing off 1. So that's not too bad. No damage was done back, even to the Vindicator. Over here, 2 wounds were dealt to the Knight, but the Knight stomped on one of the Terminators. Over here, all the Lightning Claw Terminators have now been killed off. Let's take that dice away. But they did kill off one of the Defilers in return there. So 1 Defiler has fallen, and half the Terminators have been killed off. So we can see how that's going to work out for us. Over here, Terminators and the 8-bound charged in, killing off all of the Emperor's Champion's bodyguard. The Emperor Champion is now down to 2 wounds. Pretty much all the cultists except for one of the cultist HQs still alive. The Terminators charged in, killing off the Chaplain. So the Chaplain has now gone, so that's another point for the Forces of Chaos. Over here, a few more Bloodletters were killed off. Bloodletters did nothing in return. In the centre, this squad of Legionnaires charged in. They took a couple of casualties as Tom used an interrupt, but they wiped out the remaining Crusaders in the centre there. Moving across, Venom Crawler went in, did a bit of damage to one of the aggressors, got punched back quite a bit in return, but he's okay. The other Venom Crawler and the Possessed charged in. Possessed killed off the Rhino. Rhino exploded, actually killing off one of the aggressors there. Did a couple of mortal wounds around. And the Possessed then consolidated into the squad of Marines that popped out. Moving across the battlefield, Scarbrand made short work of the Red Scorpion aggressors were up there?
No,
Black Templar aggressors. Yeah, Black Templar aggressors, which are up on the chapel. So yeah, they're not doing too well, but there's a lot of firepower right there. Down here, the fight continues with the Bloodthirster. I think another Sword Brethren died. Another one's down to 1 wound. Mm-hmm. The Bloodthirster took a bit of damage. The Rhino, got in combat with the Rhino here, taking it down to 6 wounds. So a lot of stuff happened. A lot of models dead. I think it's slightly winning Chaos's favour on that assault. And yeah, that's about it. So looking at the points at the moment, we've got a slight lead for Chaos Boys. See what we can do. But we are moving into turn 3 for the forces of the Imperium.
Okay, here we are at the beginning of turn 3 for the Imperial side. Black Templars and Scorpions trying to hold at the line of an ever-increasingly horde of chaos, which, as you saw in the last video, has expanded into several areas that we dislike. So, in response to this, we have dropped a 10-man Terminator squad up on this hill, and then moved everything down this way towards the encroaching forces which are trying to come up the hill. Although they got jump packs, they've got quite a lot of aid there. I do need to deal with this young gentleman here, Starbrand, because he's become a problem. Also, I need to deal with the Terminators on the back line over here. So 2 Dreadnoughts have decided to just pop out the back door of the keep, and they're going to see if they can do anything there. We had the Scorpius come around this way, just so he's got some line of sights on some troops. So he's not actually doing that indirect fire anymore, so we can get that hitting on 3s rather than 4s, which would be nice. Over this side of the board, we've had a 10-man tack squad get out after the Rhino retreated from combat. Well, actually, they got out first, then it retreated, so they can actually assault if they really want to with Bloodthirst. And a Skull Taker. I'm not too confident about that. We had another squad get out of this Land Raider here after it was Overwatch down to 2.
Yep. Land
Raider. However, that was a slight sweetness in the fact that the Land Raider blew itself up with the Dark Pact. Swings and roundabouts. So we then had this squad obviously jump over there. They're heading down this way to try and push to this area here. I don't know if that will work, but there's probably not enough firepower over here to do that. We had the 2 flyers down the middle. They just advanced down this way to make sure they can actually get into range of a few things. Obviously, the knight in the middle is still there, so we'll see if he can actually dish out some damage. I was going to move him forward, but it's a bit difficult to negotiate around things at the moment. So I guess we'll see. And obviously, lots of troops have got out now, including from that Land Raider at the back. So we need to put some men on the board to come forward to try and deal with Dom's response in the middle here. Other than that, nothing really too much happened. There was one more thing over there. The Cullen had decided to go around the corner here to see what was going on over here. He had a lot of racket, and yeah, he's not happy about what he's seen. He's quite an angry man anyway. So I guess we'll see what happens. So that is the end of movement. We'll now move on to shooting. Okay, we have now ended turn 3 shooting for the Templars army, and I would put it down as a fairly successful turn. So if I just like Dom had, I think it was fairly good on both fronts. I had a couple of little annoyances, one being down here, which is the Skull. Is it Skull Taker? Skull Taker did not want to go down. No. So I'm going to actually have to charge him with some non-melee focused infantry.
Could work out well.
Could work out well. Could work out terribly.
Yep.
Over here we had some shots fire into this squad of Raptors. We took, I think, 1 away. Yep. So nothing too serious there. The most successful part, I think, was over here in the middle, where the 2 Venom Crawlers and most of the Possessed have now been dealt with.
There's a lot of firepower.
I have 1 charge I can potentially do on them, but we shall see. I've got the aggressor there. Yeah.
Oh god.
We'll see. It's a 12-minute charge. Moving over here, we have an absolute stack of shots that went into this young man, as I said earlier, Mr. Scarbrand. And he ended up leading, I think, was it?
He started on 20.
Started on 20, so he's down to 13. However, that was like from shots from these Eradicators. The Eradicators down here. This Dreadnought here. The Predator Destructor.
Terminators.
All the Terminators. Halfway through that, I also got a bit frustrated. So I thought, you know what, I'll fire these guys down here, back here at these walk towns. We did manage to take 3 of them. 2 of them, sorry. Almost one extra down, which is fantastic. And then I thought, the snipers, they can do something to Scarbrand, and they did nothing. No. But they haven't done anything all game, to be fair. So I wasn't really expecting a huge amount from them. As we shift to the backfield over here, we had the 2 Dreadnoughts fire into this left-hand side of Terminator. We took 1 wound off, which is fair enough. We had the Scorpius fire into the Possessed over here, and I think they did maybe 1 or 2 wounds in there. However, the the Knight here, Knight Valiant, did some very valiant things. First of all, he conflagrated the unit that was here, which got us 2 more points because there was 2 heroes in there. There was a full wipe. The 2 shoulder cannons fired off there. Did a couple of wounds, I think, over there, but nothing major.
Killed 1 Havoc.
1 Havoc. The 2 melters fired into the Possessed guys and didn't do much. No. However, he then whipped around and fires Harpoon into the Helldrake and took it out of the air. Gone.
Yeah.
Don was actually quite excited about that.
Yeah, I wanted that.
You wanted it to happen.
Very scenic.
It's very scenic.
Yeah.
We then unfortunately shifted over to this side of the board where things got a little bit messy from there was a lot of stuff going on. But we had some las cannons from here and here, and I think it was the 2 flyers went into the Knight over there and finally got rid of that. So that was quite a lot of shots. We had the Vindicator here fire into one of the squads of Obliterators and managed to get that off the board. That was again quite cool. Then we had essentially various shots from the Suppressors, the Centurion Devs, and the las cannons here, all firing into various Havoc squads or all those Legionnaires,
the Rhino.
And the Rhino went, and also the Knight at the back. That was from the las cannons actually. I think in the episode, the standard Devastators managed to kill that off. And then we finally shifted focus over here to the left hand side of the board because Cullen's gone around the corner. He did unfortunately flame an entire squad of.
Yeah, one of my
Drakes.
last few remaining squads.
Some Drakes.
Yeah.
And then the Plasma Incinerator here fired up into the tower and managed to take out one of the pair of Obliterators up there. So, all right, cool. Outside of that, there was a couple of shots that went into the Terminator, but they went down to 2. So, favour has slightly shifted over there for the Emperor Champion. I mean, he's still in a bit of trouble because there's also some 8-bound.
Yeah.
So, other than that, though, that's pretty much all the shooting for me. So, we will head on into the assault phase and we'll see how the Templars can handle themselves in hand-to-hand combat. Okay, we finally finished turn 3 assault for the Templars. So I'm going to go into this side of the ball first. So as you can see, Scarbrand is not currently in combat. That is because we failed every single charge into him. So that was this Dreadnought here, all the Terminators, and I think that was pretty much it. They've failed. However, the assault squad here managed to make it down the hill with a lieutenant and fly into the bloodletters, which have been removed from existence because they didn't fancy their stay here for the night. And as we swing over to here, we are now down to the Blade Guard captain, or just a captain now with a relic shield, because this Bloodthirster is quite powerful.
He's done quite
Some
well.
might say he's better than a Scarbrand.
Scarbrand wouldn't.
I know, but we don't listen to Scarbrand. And as we shift down here, we managed to unfortunately take that Skull Taker down here.
Yeah,
he got absolutely pummeled to death with the butts of guns and a pair of lightning claws. I elected not to charge into these guys here because of what was waiting in this. I didn't really and the Demon Prince. I wanted them make the choice to come towards me. I'm sure that's not much of a choice. I'm sure that'll happen. And then as we swing over to the middle of the board, we didn't get any charges off in the middle because the
Dreadnoughts.
Oh yeah, I'm coming back there anyway. I just got we didn't get anything off in here. We had 1 long charge to declare, but it didn't go off. And as we swing to the back of the table down here, we managed to get 2 Dreadnoughts into Terminator land. However, Dom interrupted and took one of them out before I had a chance to swing, and the other guy took 2 of his out. So fair enough. Can't really say further than that. In the middle of the board, the Bloodletter fight here is no longer going on because Grimoldus went in and smacked them off the side. We then had down here the Rhino was charged by the aggressors and they managed to get down to 4 wounds. Khan in the middle down here managed to finish off the captain in Gravis armour finally after that 4 rounds, I think. Yeah. It was a bit of a bloody back and forth.
Good hoo-ha.
Yeah, so for Sally there. I didn't make many charges over here annoyingly because I was hoping Cullen might make this charge into here along with the Vanguard veterans. But we didn't make it, therefore the Emperor Champion was left to fend for himself, and unfortunately, even though he did parry a couple of blows, he was not able to stay on course. So, that is... there was also Dom's Leviathan having a bit of trouble with my Terminators, and we're kind of hitting the Vindicator, so it's a bit of a back and forth, and he did finally finish off the remaining the remaining Terminator at the back of that one, although... I did some damage to him on the way out.
You did a couple more wounds?
Swung in, did some pain. But that is basically it for now. We'll be right back in a moment with a little tiny recap and then a move on to turn 4. So as we head into round 4, it is 15 to the forces of Imperium and 17 to the forces of Chaos. So we're fairly even at the moment. However, obviously we've still got 2 turns to go. However, it's going to get a bit quicker now and probably a lot more bloody as things that are hanging on to life over these few rounds suddenly give up or explode or various other things or capitulate in horrendous fashion. So we'll be right back in a moment with turn 4 for Chaos.
Turn 4 for the forces of Chaos. So in our movement phase, what have we done? Very good question, Tom. I'm glad you asked. So the Raptors, which were down here, have moved up there. Harkham Word Bearer is up here at the moment, so he's going to be charging in potentially. The Land Raider, which was scooting back here, is shot forwards. Possessed have come out, so they're going to try and deal with that squad of Tactical Marines.
I mean, they're going to.
They're going to, yeah, that's true. The other Raptors as well are just jumping up with these Nurgle Marines coming up closer to the objective. Over here, Warp Talons have either jumped towards or jumped over the Assault Intercessors there. Scarbrand is there. Bloodletters have moved up the hill as well. Over on this side of the hill, a squad of Terminators has advanced up the hill. Very slow Terminators, so they're slowly, gradually getting up the hill. Our bomber is in the back lines now, just flying over, doing a bit of a sortie, so hopefully he can do some bombs in a second. What else has happened over here? Oh, our knight. So we had a really good plan. The knight was going to fire both its plasma cannons across the battlefield in there. Unfortunately, I can hit the Tech Marine, but I can't hit the Terminators. So that plan is kind of scuppered because we can't quite make it. I mean, if blast templates are still a thing, we might be all right.
Yeah, we should bring him back.
We should bring him back. You're right, Tom. Back here as well, Combat Knight has just come round. Hopefully he can get a charge off in a minute to help out with the Defilers, help the Defilers against the Terminators. This Knight has advanced across because he's not able to do anything at the moment, unfortunately. Moving over to the centre. So general advance of the Legionnaires and Havocs in the centre here. Look, everyone's moving up. We've got the objective again. We're pushing up. We're seeing what we can do. The War Dogs at the back have also moved up around, trying to get some more targets. But generally that's it. General advance as always for the Forces of Chaos. We'll see what we can do as we move into shooting. Let's hope we can kill some Templars. Turn 4 shooting for the Forces of Chaos. So we'll start over here. The battlefield's looking a little bit thinner now. The Titan here fired both its shots down into the Dreadnoughts, killing off Cullen, who was a HQ, and the other Dreadnought behind has been taken down to 1 wound because the explosion as well did a fair bit of damage. So well done. The Vindicator is still battling here. I played a strat on as well, so reroll hits and wounds. Came in here and it took out the majority of this Vanguard squad. Also the explosion from Cullen as well took another one out, so it's down to 3 from the original 10, which is pretty tasty. The bomber killed off a scout and did a wound to another one. He's well worth his points. Across the battle here as well, the Legionnaires are spread out, putting fire across the field. We had Grimoldus and his squad, which were slowly taken out away with the Havocs. Even when the Havocs had a -1 to hit due to the suppressors previously, they killed off a fair amount. We also had other small arms firing in as well, so that has got rid of that. We did waste a bit of fire going into this Leviathan. Unfortunately, it didn't go anywhere. It's still alive. We did, however, kill off the Vindicator. So the Vindicator was fired upon by the Havocs down here, firing in, and finally killed him off. The Knight that was here, the Tyrant, was hit by a salvo of las cannon fire from the Predators at the back. The Predators are doing a lot of heavy lifting in this game. They've just been constantly firing and taking out the main threats. Over here, there's not a huge amount going on. We've had a few shots going in. Small arms have been fired in by the Raptors and doing a fair bit of damage. The Land Raider has fired off, killed off, I think, two of the aggressive Assault Intercessors up here. So it's doing a little bit of damage, but we did challenge things. We're on our 1 wound and we did Dark Pact it and we thought, here we go, we can do this. Down here, the Obliterators, 2 Obliterators here fired off into the Red Scorpion Tactical Squad, killing off 8 of those. And that was about it. So they've done pretty well. We're going to move on to turn 4 assault for the forces of chaos. End of turn 4 assault for the forces of chaos. So quite a bit's happened in this turn. We have got down here the squad of possessed charged in, ripped apart that squad of tactical marines. Over here as well, Harkin has charged in and dealt a pretty brutal blow to the squad of tactical marines. They're still holding in there. The scouts up here got engaged by another squad of raptors. Up on the hill, God, bit messy. Scarbrand charged into the Contemptor and the Predator, killing both. The Contemptor, unfortunately, blew up, dealt a mortal wound out, killed a few Bloodletters and one of the Warp Talons. The remaining Warp Talons killed off the Stern Guard. Both squads of Warp Talons down here finished off the Assault Intercessors down there. Down here as well, this combat continues. However, this Contemptor is now on only 3 wounds, so he's got a bit of a hammering. Up here, Khan charged up onto this platform, killing off the 3 Hellblasters which were holding that position. They have now fallen. We had a few failed charges, unfortunately. However, one charge that did go off was a squad of 4 Legionnaires that went in, and Tom struck first with his Judica. And killed off pretty much most of the squad bar 1. Over here, the aggressors there killed off the Rhino. Did not explode, luckily. Down here, we had the 8-bound, Exalted 8-bound, charged into the Impulsor, killing the Impulsor. But however, explosion did do 3 mortal wounds, which killed off one of the Exalted 8-bound. Down here, the fight continues with the Terminators. The Knight failed his charge, wasn't able to get in. However, this Defiler got in. It did nothing whatsoever to Terminators. Terminators killed off the wounded Defiler and then turned its attention to this one and did a couple of wounds. So it's been pretty brutal across the board. Down here, the Leviathan killed off the last Terminator, so that's quite good actually, because it makes it a bit easier for the Titan to move forwards. And that is about it. So it's quite a good turn. We've killed off a couple of characters as well, popping our score up a bit higher. We're going to move in now to turn 4 for the Black Templars and Red Scorpions.
So as we roll into turn 4 for the Imperium, desperate times ahead. We're going to have to make some points up here because we are falling behind. Movement-wise, the 2 flyers have flown this way as we put Oath of the Moment on this centralised Predator here. Time to deal with it. Although they are getting a 4 vulnerable from this goddamn Knockcliff crown. Yeah. So we'll have to see how that goes. In the centre here, the last remaining Leviathan has made a brave step forward. The jump pack troops have done a run or an advance to get up as fast as they can because they've only got really 1 more turn that they can do anything with. The 2 remaining aggressors here have changed their attention towards the Havocs, and then the Impulse has done a blocking move while running away from the possessed over here. Because I've had to keep these 2 tac squads still because I want to use their heavy weapons where I can. I've kind of abandoned over here because I just don't see it going particularly well as we move on to this side of the board. There's been some heavy movement over here where we've had the repaired Redemptor along with the very angry Tech Marine down there is making a move towards these remaining Terminators and what are they called? They
Exalted 8-bound.
Exalted 8-bound, that's the one, along with the Chaplain and his 2 remaining Vanguard veterans who might make it into combat this turn. I mean, they've taken a while getting there. Otherwise, in the centre here, the Centurion Devastator has moved up along with the Land Raider Helios. And then over here, the Dreadnought was backed out of combat with the Terminator squad because there was some options for shooting from here and the Hellblasters which might be able to help it out. I'm not quite sure what we're going to do with Khan yet. Because he's only on 2 wounds, but he's still pretty dangerous. Yeah, I would say.
Don't ignore Khan.
No, don't ignore Khan, exactly. We've also got a couple of the units that are sitting here, just kind of holding the middle, along with this Land Raider that moved around with the buffed Dreadnought to get a speed on potentially the Predators over there. On this side of the board, everything is turned around to deal with Scarbrand and his mates. So obviously we've got Scarbrand, but we've also got Terminators coming through this door over here. So the church is well and truly invaded. So we're going to try and deal with that, along with over here where the Bloodthirster that has been causing a massive amount of problems to this Blade Guard squad. The captain has decided, nope, we need to shoot this thing. So he's backed himself out. That is my movement. We'll now head on into the shooting for turn 4. for the Black Templars. Okay, so we just hit the end of turn 4, shooting for Imperial side. As you can see here, there's a couple of little holes left for poor Scarbrand. He did get absolutely pasted with multiple shots from all over the place. It did take a little while to kill him, to be fair. It wasn't just a plain...
3 squads.
He did well for himself. It was pretty good. It was essentially, it was the Tech Marine and I think the Venerable Dreadnought in the end that did the damage on it. Everything else over here did try and fire it. We did fire some Eradicators down here, which knocked this guy down to 6 wounds. Hasn't really gone that well with him, to be honest. I think he's going to be up there next turn, having a chat.
Yeah, he's going to be having words.
But we do have some Terminators coming out to hopefully hold the hill. As we move round over this way, we have fired various guns into these remaining Terminators back here, and taking I think 2 in the end, or was it just the one? One more dying over there. That was mainly from these plasmas and the remaining intercessor squad sitting at the back here. And obviously the bare spot where the Titan was, we've all moved forward now. So these las cannons, these Centurions, we basically picked various targets for ranging from the mini knight that is no longer there and the 2 predators over there. To be fair, these didn't have a lot to do with the predator stuff because they missed the predator woefully. That was more to do with the flyers, and I think also a couple of shots from the Anvilus over here, and no, this one fluffed as well, I think, didn't it?
Yeah, fluffed.
Yeah, it was pretty bad.
Yeah, not good.
We couldn't even kill these 2 remaining possessed off, which is getting a bit embarrassing now.
There's a lot of heavy bolted shots.
There's a lot, yeah.
Nothing to them.
We'll have to see if we've got something to do with that later. So down here, obviously, all this is... we did shoot a few bits in here, but because we were primarily focusing on all the big stuff, we didn't get a chance to actually put many shots into that horrific amount of Legionnaires. As we go down here, we have managed to finish off the Exalted 8-bound. That was a combination of the Redemptor here, which almost killed itself. He's on 1 wound. I don't really think he's going to survive past this turn. And the 2, and basically this squad here shot a few pistols, but nothing major. So that is pretty much all of the shooting for turn 4 and my turn. We're going to quickly go into the assault phase for turn 4, and we'll see where we're at in a minute. Okay, as we enter end of turn 4 combat for the Templar forces, down here, there wasn't any fight here. We killed them.
Yeah.
There was a fight over here though. The bashing of the Defilers continued. Unfortunately, not quite as good this time. The Defiler actually managed to kill one.
Yeah.
I managed to take a little bit off his leg.
Yeah.
That's about it. So.
Oh, you did kill the last 2 World Eaters, last 2 Terminators on that objective.
Oh, it was. Sorry, it was actually a combat. I forgot it was the Dreadnought went in and did a. Yeah, sorry, excuse me. I thought we killed them in the shooting phase. That's why. There's so much to remember, guys. Just it's been a long day. So over here we had the Centurions running into the Centurion. Just managed to rear end the 2 the 1 remaining word bearer there. We managed to get a little jump towards that way potentially. This Leviathan has ended up in combat with a small squad, but I don't think I'll have to check his AC in a minute. I don't know.
Yeah,
might be done.
See how that goes.
See how it goes in a minute. As we move over here, there was not really much combat except in this arena over here, where, as you can see, the remaining warp turns that were up here have now been dispatched. However, there's still obviously quite a few Terminators running around down here. Some more things. We've also got another Bloodthirster to deal with, so next turn could be quite spicy. We shall see. Other than that, that's pretty much it, because there wasn't really anything else in combat range. So we'll now roll over to the end of turn, go have a quick update on the scores, and then we'll come back in turn 5. Okay, so at the interim between turn 4 and 5, we have ended. It is currently 19 to myself with the Imperial side and 25 to the Chaos forces. So there's going to have to be some pretty heavy work done in the last turn here for me to catch up. Or to me to just to defend off the attack. But we shall see. There's always a puncher's hope in Apocalypse, because there's plenty of characters running around that need killing, and there's plenty of objectives that can be claimed. So let's roll into Chaos turn 5.
Turn 5 movement for the forces of Chaos. So we're in a strong place to begin with. We have scored 3 points already because we're still on 3 objectives. So just go through the objectives. We're still on this backfield one here. We are on the centre one, or we were on the centre one to start with there, because we have more OC than the Dreadnought. We have still got the landing pad here. We have lost the one that we fought very valiantly for. That's finally fallen to the Templar forces. So just to go over the objectives, there's one over here, and then there's one right across the battlefield in the shrine over there. Movement-wise, this knight has now come around to assist the Defiler. Hopefully he can do something. This knight here has moved up and the Titans just edged forwards. So now the Terminator's been cleared out, the Vindicator's shot up, the Leviathan's gone up, and we've just checked. We are in range of firing 2 plasma blast guns into that ruin. Hopefully we can get rid of some of those Terminators. Across the field as well, we've had another advance just to solidify our hold on the centre. So we've got Legionnaires holding out, the Nurgle Marines have moved up, we've got Legionnaires and Havocs in the centre crater there, facing off down there. These Legionnaires and the other Havocs and the Terminators also moved up to the objective. Going to put some fire in there with assistance from the 3 Obliterators that are still alive. Across the field as well, so this has pretty much remained still, but we have now cleared out the Red Scorpions and the Tactical Squad. We've moved up, we're hoping to get rid of this captain. In Overwatch, oh, it was painful. This Dreadnought fired into the Great Dimlicorn, taking him down to 1 wound. The Warp Talons have surrounded the Terminators, so the idea is Titan fires across the battlefield, hits here, kills most of them. This is really putting a lot on it. And we claim that objective. Also for the World Eater rules, we've got +2 to our movement and we have got Feel No Pain. So these Terminators have now rushed into the ruins on a last chance charge for this squad here. Might be able to do something against a Tech Marine. I think it's a bit of a charge though, but we might just do some firing into the building anyway. And that is essentially it. We've got a lot to do. We've got to try and prevent the Templars making a comeback. So let's move into turn 5, shooting for chaos. Okay, so the end of turn 5 shooting for the Forces of Chaos. Pretty good turn, pretty good turn. So down here, we had Judica back there with a couple of Sword Brethrens. They took a lot of firepower from down here, a lot of Legionnaires just firing in, and eventually he just fell. He couldn't take it anymore, he just gone. The Jump Infantry there took a disgusting volley of fire from all 3 Obliterators. The captain was left standing. However, this War Dog over here fired in, just ripping him apart, just bits of skin and bone everywhere. It's not pleasant. And over here, the Shield Captain that had been in combat the whole time with the Bloodthirster turned his back to look at the Bloodthirster. But unfortunately, all these Raptors with melter guns and plasma pistols, traitorous, came up, just shot him in the back. So he's gone. Up on the hill, also, we had the Titan firing in, wiping out 5 of the Terminators with a horrible lot of blast. The Terminators here for the Chaos ones came in, did a bit, I think this Tech Marine's down to 1 wound. The Land Raider from down the bottom of the hill fired in and killed 2 of the Eradicators. So like this holding is very limited now. Unfortunately, I did forget to do a leadership for the Dark Pact. No, so he's now dead.
Oh, was that there?
Yeah, no, he's dead now. Yeah.
Does he go up?
He does, but there's no one around. He's just, boom, just gone. Killed himself. Sad times. And that's it. That's it for the shooting phase. We're going to move into combat now and see if we can kill off some more Templars and take this hill. Turn 5. It is taken. The Forces of Chaos, 5 turns. 5 solid turns, but we have finally taken this hill. And this chapel. We've finally taken it. But for how long? I don't know. But at this point, I don't care, Tom. Because we've done it. They've taken the hill. The Bloodthirster charged up, killed off, I think, 2 or 3 Terminators. Then, basically, Tom interrupted, killed the Bloodthirster. The Warp Talons, both of them did their work. Sliced up the last of the Terminators, just leaving the Chaplain. The Terminators from the World East charged into the Black Templar Dreadnought and taking it down to 2 wounds. 1 has fallen and 1 is down to 1 wound. So it's a very bloody fight, but the World Eaters just hold it for now. Coming across the battlefield, the only other combats we had in the centre, you might remember there was a Leviathan Dreadnought, but that has now also disappeared. So the World Eaters, the Word Bearers, are on that objective. And finally, over here, the Knight has charged into combat against those Terminators. But for some reason, the Terminators won't die. And they killed a 3rd Defiler.
Yeah.
Very
I
unpleasant.
might add a knight to that in a minute.
But that's it. Might add a knight to it. You probably will, to be honest. Indestructible. And that is it. So that is the end of turn 5. We've got a good lead. Now it's down to the Templars to try and bring it back.
Okay, it is turn 5, end of movement for the Black Templars and Red Scorpions. We're getting a bit thin on the ground, so I've had to make some tactical plays. Down here, the chaplain has decided to exit combat to give all of this squad up on this balcony here a good clear line of sight down at the remaining warp talons. The Tech Marine is absolutely incensed by the number of vehicles that have died around him, and he has made a move towards them to hopefully assist with the killing if required. As has this Dreadnought, who's just come up to this barrier ready to try and run through into here if he gets a good charge off. The Red Scorpion intercessors at the back here that have been holding the back line decided to come over and deal with these remaining Terminators if required. Also the snipers, which, I don't know, they've been so good this game, the snipers, Dom.
Yep.
They really haven't.
They've been amazing.
I can see why they have been legends. And not for the good reasons, because they ain't legends. This Dreadnought over here has poked out after being repaired and buffed by the Dreadnought over this way. The Land Raider was also pumped up by the Dreadnought over here before he moved over that way. And then I've tried to kind of congregate towards the middle here. So I've got a few things that need to happen to potentially try and take this point off, because I'm going to score my points at the end of the turn. So I've got my Centurions here. I have my Land Raider Helios. I have a squad here. I have some aggressors here, and I also have an impulsor. I did elect to keep the 2 Red Scorpion units still because they have a couple of long-range weapons which I might try and fire some missiles with, potentially to get a few insta-kills with, we shall see. And then, all the way over the back here, I've put my Oath of Moment in one basket. It is on the Warlords unit at the back here, Core Kids unit. The 2 Stormhounds in a last-ditch effort are going to try and do a strafing run on him. And his squad, I don't think is going to go well, but we're going to try because there's 3 points available for me there, so I've got to try. I probably should have tried it a couple of turns ago, but we'll give it a go now. I haven't really got. There's only a couple of things that can really see him. So the other things that can potentially shoot is the Derridio over there and the Scorpius. I've just moved into range over this way if he can reach. I've got to check the range of his weapon because I think it might be 36. If it's 36, he can't do it. Anyway, that's my movement. That's what the plan is. So we'll be right back in a moment after the shooting's done. All right, everyone, we have finished turn 5 shooting for the Templars. We almost had a critical success over here, but it didn't quite get a plan. It ended up with Core Kid alive on his own. I didn't have anything else I could throw at him, sadly, so a bit of a shame. We then fired a hell of a lot of stuff over here to try and clear out a bit of this. So essentially all the guys up here managed to wipe out 1 squad of the Warp Talons and then take the other ones down to 2. We just had the Dreadnought left down here with the Tech Marine and the other one. So it's just going to be a bit of luck, basically. A little bit of luck. We could potentially call the Dreadnought over here to maybe charge in and stomp his feet along with this one down here, but it does kind of, it relies on a bit of luck with the charge. So over to the middle though, where some of the other interesting bits were happening, we had pretty much everything that was over here. So we had this Dreadnought down here and some of the squads over here all fire into the Legionnaires and the Terminators, just trying to thin them out because the Centurions are going to try and make a last minute dash for that central objective to try and push them off it, but we'll see how that goes shortly. However, in some positive days, because I did need 1 more HQ kill to max out, I managed to use these 5 snipers here that have done nothing all game to kill 1 Lord Executioner. I think Dom's reaction was, I don't think he's got an invulnerable save, and he didn't. So he managed to unfortunately get pipped off by the snipers. Honestly, they've done nothing all game. Last turn, fantastic. I'll take it. So anyway, that's pretty much all of the shooting. We're essentially going to go in and try and do some bits that are critical to the game. So we're going to head on into this middle bit here, and we'll see what happens. Okay, so we finally ended the combat phase. So down here in the church, it ended up dead draw overall because basically the Tech Marine actually came in with such ferocity and killed all of the Warp Talons, and then the Derridio came in behind and managed to get in as well. However, the 4 remaining Terminators managed to finish off the Dreadnought, and the OC is equal.
Yep.
So sadly, it was an epic fight, but no one quite holds it. I do feel the Chaos might be in a precarious position there if they stay a bit longer, though.
I've got more Terminators. We'll be fine. We've got Raptors coming in. Church will be ours.
As we go to the centre of the board, this was quite a bloody affair. The Centurions managed to make their charge and managed to basically take the Apostle and the remainder of his squad. He was down to 1 wound down there, so pretty close stuff. And that basically, we just swung that because they have a slightly high OC, so that was good. So we ended up controlling this area here after the combat, and obviously we're still holding this one down here. We also got obviously the 1 Warlord, 1 HQ kill, not the Warlord kill, I should say. So that ends the game, However, we'll be right back in a minute with a recap of the full scores and a little panorama of the board. All right, everyone. There's Dominic over there. We've finally finished. Just as well, hello. We have essentially finished up the day, and we have the final scores. It's been a very long 2 days. I ended up with Chaos Forces being victorious on 31 points, and I came up. It's very exciting. And I ended up on 23. Essentially, the big deciding factor in this one was unfortunately the objective controlling. Because that's where the point. I think actually everything else. Well, we maxed out on both the other ones ourselves, didn't we? So you got the Warlord kill.
Yeah, Titans, we wrapped up. You just leading on the HQs.
But you made up for that by getting the Warlord.
I got the Warlord,
which gave the extra point.
Yeah,
But you got
we held the objectives.
Yeah, you consistently held at least 2 every turn.
Yeah.
And I was down to 1, except for the last turn where I managed to get 2, which was I think it was just this horrible area over here. Really was the big problem.
My cultists did well.
They did very well. Yes. As is tradition in our games, we always do a model of the match. So Dom, I believe this one over here is your model of the match.
Yeah, normally I don't pick the Titan. However, like he's done surprisingly well today. So he's killed off your Titan.
He did.
He's killed 2. He's killed your Dreadnought Cullen. He's killed 2 anti-tank tanks up there.
He has.
He's fired up, and basically without him, I wouldn't have been able to fire up that hill.
There would have been 5 extra terminators up there. And
Exactly.
That would have
been
I think you're being too much. Too much to take on.
Titan is my model of the match. Which normally he isn't, but in this one he definitely is.
Well done, Mr. Titan. Well done. Mine, I was originally going to pick the 2 flyers over there, but then actually, looking across the board, I remember this very forgotten little corner over here, where this Terminator squad that dropped in turn 2, and have been here battling 3 defilers, and then finally also a knight, which to be fair, nothing's happened there, but because we didn't get around to obviously the fighting of that, sadly. But they killed 3 defilers.
Yeah. And
they only lost basically half their squad essentially.
They did.
So pretty damn well done. Very happy with them. I had a lot of little mini highlights all over the battlefield as usual. It's been an absolute blast. And so, as you can see here from the table, it is pretty thin on the ground in various locations. It's almost like there's almost a 2,000 point battle going on now. Except for obviously until you come over here and see a Titan, then that changes the opinion slightly. But yeah, really good fun, and I think ready for the next one?
Yeah.
So I think without further ado, that is myself, Tom, and say goodbye, Dom, like I say. We will see you very soon for the next one, and take care, everyone. Bye!